Welcome back, you bunch of weirdos. It's your number one fat Asian coming to you today with another one of these sell the whole goddamn team and rebuild. In the last rebuild, I asked you which teams should I be doing next, and the popular vote, I mean, they win almost every single online vote. It's Arsenal. And we got rid of Arsene Wenger. They now have Unai Emery of PSG fame. Had a number of down years recently. They aren't the Arsenal of old, and they are definitely a far cry from the Invincibles. So that is going to be my quest today. Not necessarily to rebuild the Invincibles, because I probably just don't have the budget for that, but to have that invincible spirit in a sense. Now, before we get too far into this, I'd like to go ahead and do as I do in every single one of these rebuilds, and that's give credit to the man who brought rebuilds to the FIFA 19 community. And that, of course, is JarradHD. If you have not been hearing about him, you've probably been living under a rock. So go ahead, check him out. Does amazing rebuilds, does amazing FIFA 19 career mode content. And overall, he's a pretty cool dude. So yeah, check him out and the other things. But there are a few key differences between the way that he does his rebuilds and the way that I do mine. Primarily is, well, it's in the title, I sell the whole goddamn team. So we say adios to the Ozils, the Lacazettes, the Obama Yanks. They all gone. Even the lonely players are out the door. And I go on SoFifa.com, and if I add up all of their total values, I would get a sum of 428 million euros, or roughly $500 million. With that $500 million burning a hole in my pocket, I go on the SoFifas again, and I rebuild a completely brand new team for under that budget. And after I rebuy that team, put it all together, I take that team, put them into career mode, and then we spend the entirety of that budget to try to even strengthen up that team furthermore. And then we play out the entirety of the season. We sim it to the end with the hopes of either winning the league, or in this case, winning Europa League. Let's be fairly realistic about this. I'm gonna give this video some stakes for me. If I do not go ahead and win the league or win Europa League, then at the end of this video, I'll be giving away a copy of FIFA 19, which means I got $60 riding on this. And the Europa League final will be played on ultimate difficulty. And I am really not that good at FIFA, so your chances are pretty good. But let's go ahead, let's get started. Let's push your nipple to the like button right now as I introduce to you the team that has cost me $500 million to rebuild Arsenal. It is interesting. Now, the past couple of teams that I have built had astronomical budgets, both of them closer to 1 billion than to $500 million, as in this case. So the names might not be quite as star-studded, but when rebuilding Arsenal, I think I could have gone two ways. One, you try to build it in the mold of Unai Emery, who, you know, had a very distinctive system over at PSG, and kudos to him, he's really turned the team around after a little bit of a shaky start. And the second factor that I tried to work in was something that I discussed earlier, and that is trying to bring a little bit back of that invincible feel, and not as in they're never going to be defeated during a season, but more of trying to find players that fit the archetypes that made Arsenal so great back in the day. Things like finding the next Thierry Henry, the next Bergkamp, the next Sol Campbell, if you will. And I think I let the cat out of the bag on that one, because if you mention, hey, who's could possibly ever replace Thierry Henry? The kid's out there, he just won a World Cup, he's the best young player in the world, and that is Kylian Mbappe. He is coming in at a pretty penny. The youngster costs 72 million. I kind of flirted between him and Antoine Griezmann, but I just think the lineage of both of these players having their start out at Monaco and then eventually making their way over to Arsenal just fit a little bit better. Now, as for the player taking on the Bergkamp role, I don't think there are a lot of players in modern day football that could really encapsulate the genius that is Bergkamp, but if you take it back a World Cup ago, there was a player that flashed those types of characteristics, and his career has been up and down, kind of derailed mostly by injury, but when he is healthy, James Rodriguez is absolutely fantastic. He is a magician at that center forward cam position. He's both provider as well as adept at scoring some beautiful goals. He's the co-highest rated player on this team, and I think he's absolutely going to be fantastic as long as he can stay healthy, because I mean, we're going to go over there. Oh, actually, I thought for sure in his traits he'd have the injury prone trait, but no. And as you can see, a new update in the patch, you can see that playmaker and technical dribbler, those only apply when the CPU controls them. Now, there was a little bit of a third factor that I came in here because I myself, as an American, never saw the Invincibles play. When Arsenal was first introduced to me, the way that I knew it was they played beautiful football. And if I wanted to restore beautiful football to Arsenal or make them into the Barcelona of England, who else better than basically retired Iniesta? Bringing him out, I mean, come on. It's nice that he's doing a little vacation over in Japan because it's dope. I've been there. The sushi is fantastic. But I'd always been curious to see how good Iniesta possibly could be in the Premier League. And he's 87 rated. He's still got a little bit to give here. But since Andres Iniesta and James Rodriguez are a little bit of lightweights, I went ahead and counteracted that with adding a lot of beef to the midfield. At the right cam position, we have Hulk. Yes, the Brazilian has been in China for a while, but now we're going to go ahead and bring him back over to Europe. The 81 rated right mid also, as you can see, has distance shooter, strength, power free kick, speed dribbler, playmaker, and long shot taker ability. He is listed as a right mid, but as you can see, can also play at the cam position and striker to back up Kylian Mbappe if anything were to happen to him. He is a little bit up there in age, 31, but as you can see, still got good finishing. He's still got good shot power. His pace, he's not quite as fast as he used to be, 80 sprint speed, but still decent stamina, 86 stamina and 92 strength. Then in a CDM role, which is probably not his best role, but I was thinking, I mean, who could possibly be the next Patrick Vieira? And while defensively he's quite weak from what I've seen, he has the physical ability and the stature of a Vieira. In fact, he could probably be better than a Vieira if he were able to put all of his game together. And that is another World Cup winner in Paul Pogba. Much maligned over at Manchester United, but as we saw at the World Cup, he has the ability to be the best player on the pitch at times. And given a brand new system, a system that hopefully he could be a little bit more free-flowing going forward, I think Paul Pogba could absolutely flourish in a team like Barcelona or Arsenal, any team that plays attacking football, essentially. Then the other CDM position, I went for a little bit of a sentimental pick because he's getting up there in age, but Cesc Fabregas was actually on the Invincible squad. Yeah, he was really young back then. And of course, he's probably going to have a little bit of chemistry because he's played with Andres Iniesta before, both with Spain and at his time over at the Barcelona. That being said, I spent a lot of money on the attacking players because that's kind of the Arsenal that I remember. Not all so great defensively, but man, they were great going forward and they could score a buttload of goals. So the back line was kind of part one of what I was saying because you're going to recognize a lot of faces in here from PSG. In fact, 4 out of the 5 are former PSG players. You got Kurzawa, who's actually the backup left back over at PSG. You got Marquinhos, who's the center back over at PSG. You got Thomas Meunier, who's fantastic, by the way, but he's the starting right back over at PSG. And then in between the six, you have Areola, who is now probably the backup over at PSG now that Buffon is over there. And then I got Harry Maguire playing the Sol Campbell role. It's not a one-for-one comparison, but I was just thinking, who would be a good hulking English center back? And Harry Maguire came to mind. On the bench, we have a mixture of distinguished veterans along with a lot of high-profile youngsters. You got Iker Casillas backing up Areola. You got Dani Alves backing up Thomas Meunier. Alphonso Davies still hasn't transferred over to Bayern yet, so we get to go ahead and snag him up. 72 rated. Barzagli is actually higher rated than Maguire, but he's ancient. Like, how old is he now? 37, yeah. So he's just in there just to be in there. And then you got a bunch of youngsters in here. You got Chouamani. CDM excellent and potential. Gubbles is the backup striker. He's just a youngster with high end potential as well. Darmian is a solid backup who can play both of the fullback roles. Then you have the other Paulinho who has excellent and potential. He can play on the right mid if we ever switch to the wide formation. You have Kamara who can also play a little bit of CDM if need be. As a backup center back, you got Tonali who has a monster. Try this kid out. He's got 88 potential as a CDM role. And then we have on Angel Gomez from Manchester United backing up the camp position. So as you can see, depth-wise, defensively, we're okay, but offensively and in the midfield, it's pretty thin. Go time!
is it?
But now we have taken this Arsenal squad into career mode. We sit, as you can see in the calendar, on July 1st of 2018. And we are in the transfer window. Let's go ahead and strengthen up this squad. We check our transfer budget. We have roughly, I'd say, like around $175 million to go ahead and play around with, which is, you know, not bad. Looking over this squad, as discussed before, there is a lack of depth behind the strikers, behind the cams, and behind the CDMs. We want to look for direct upgrades. I think maybe we could go a little bit higher rated on Hulk. While Fabregas is nice depth, I think getting a true defensive CDM could free up Pogba to go ahead and flow forward, as well as Kurzawa is actually under 80, so maybe go ahead and upgrade defensively over there. The first guy I'm going after is, I'm trying to get the band back together apparently at Barcelona. Since we already have Iniesta, we have Cesc Fabregas, let's go in for Busquets. Arguably the best CDM in the world. He's fantastic. Not all that great in pace, but for the simulation part of it, we should be fine. Coming in with the value of 40 million. Maybe let's offer up Mr. Dani Alves. We super don't need Mr. Dani. They want 76 million for him. He's 29 years of age. I didn't think he would be this expensive. All right, let's try 55 million with a 5% sell-on clause. Okay, we're getting closer. 60 million for Mr. Busquets. Try 56 this time. And then edit the set-on clause to 25. What do you say? That's a better offer. Okay, 56 plus Dani Alves to go ahead and grab ourselves Sergio Busquets. Let's go ahead. Let's delegate that bitch. And while I like Hulk, if I want this team to be more passing oriented, there are a few better in the game right now than Thiago over at Bayern Munich. I'm going to start out with 50, so 10 over the top. They're saying 61. Okay, 55, and add a sell-on clause of 25%. And they'll accept that. Okay, so we got two players in, Thiago and Sergio Busquets, both for 55 apiece. Not all too snabby, and that should leave us a decent amount still to go ahead and play around with. Maybe we go ahead now, strengthen up our defensive backline. There we go. Offer accepted for both. So welcome in Mr. Thiago, and welcome to Arsenal, Mr. Sergio Busquets. Busquets. All right, now actually our front five that's going forward is pretty nasty. You got Kylian Mbappe up top, striker. He's at 87 rated. James Rodriguez at cam, who's 88 rated. Left cam, you have Andres Iniesta at 87. Right cam, our lowest rated midfielder, is Thiago at 86. You got Paul Pogba at right CDM/CM. And then you got Sergio Busquets mopping up at CDM position at 88. After our two purchases, we have roughly, I'd say around 47 million. And I think philosophy-wise, I think it's far more valuable to have an extremely good keeper than it is to have a defensively sound left back. I think Kurzawa can do a good enough job, but ultimately they say that David De Gea is good for about 10 points a season. So let's see if we can duplicate that effect with Samir Handanovic. 14 million. And they want foot. Get out of here, bro. My man Handanovic is not worth that much. He's 33 years of age. His current value is 26 million. We're offering you a guy who's 14 million. 32. That's a better offer. Honestly, we got good deals on Sergio Busquets. We got good deals on Thiago. We're overpaying just, you know, by 5 or 6 million, I feel like, on Handanovic because he is 33 years of age, but he's 88 rated, man. That's such a huge difference, especially in a lot of these games. And if we are able to make it to the Europa League final, he's a fantastic keeper in-game. There we go, offer accepted for Mr. Handanovic. So that makes 3 players that we have brought into Arsenal: Handanovic, Thiago, and Busquets. And that was a massive upgrade from Areola, who was at an 81, so this is a 7-point upgrade over here. And while Kurzawa is 79 rated right now, he does have the potential of 82. So he could grow over the course of the season. And let's see our new team in action in simulation in the European International Cup final up against Benfica. Someone who we could possibly face in the Europa League final, or at least that type of caliber. All right. Kurzawa, the guy I was talking shit about, goes ahead and scores 6 minutes because, I don't know, poetry. In fact, we spent like 400 million on players in our midfield and attacking, and the Kurzawa scored 2. Our fullbacks are on full-on ridiculous mode right here. Mbappe finally scores for the outfield players, and Sergio Busquets. It's mostly our defensive players. It's a 5-1. Can't sell him after that performance. After winning the preseason tournament, we have 22 million, but I don't really think that we need to make an upgrade right now. I think it is safer, since we do have a lot of older players on this roster that might be degrading, might get hurt throughout the season. I think it's wiser at this point that we send to the midway point and see how the lads are doing. We'll get a little bit more money then, and if any injuries happen, we can replace that one in the January window. So let's go ahead, let's take it to January, and until then, take it away, Time Wizard.
Go, Time Wizard!
All right, we sit on January 1st of 2019. Let's go ahead, let's take a look at the league and see where Arsenal stands. We go over, yep, you can see it right here. We're in 3rd place. Don't be bamboozled. It looks like we're number 1. But boom, boom. Liverpool is on top with 44 points. Manchester City sit in 2nd place with 43. And Arsenal, not too far behind. We're only 3 points off the top. So we have an off chance of getting in there. If we take a look at the squad, let's see if we have any major injuries. And no, it seems like we're doing all right. The only thing of note is Andres Iniesta has gone down by 1. To an 86, but if we go over, Mbappe has gone up to an 88, and Paul Pogba has gone up to an 89, so it kind of cancels out. We go over to finances, and we got about 35 million to play around with, maybe 37 million. And then another option that I had in mind was picking up Mr. Alex Telles of Porto. 37 million, and Kurzawa. Let's put that down to about 32, and you got yourself a deal. All right, that's the better offer. Okay. Running a little bit risky here because we'll only have 1 fullback for the remainder of the year if one of them does go down. But it is a substantial upgrade. All right, and he went 76 in the widgets with a signing bonus of around $500,000. Acceptable! And there we go. Ronald Koeman seals the deal, and we've got it. So we're just going to decline on the Andrew Robertson deal. It's all the money that we can spend for now. Take a look at our goal totals. Kylian Mbappe leads us right now with 7, with Hulk following up with 6, and Thomas Munir in 3rd place also with 6. For assists, it's Paul Pogba leading the way with Kylian Mbappe behind him. But without further ado, we still are in the Europa League. I'm going to sim to near the end of the season right here. We're going to go to May 11th, and that is going to be the day before the end of the season, and see where we stand. See if we're in contention to maybe possibly win the league, or if we're still in the Europa League. But if not, we'll just go ahead, we'll play out the final game of the season just to see how things go. Till then, take it away, Time Wizard.
Go, Time Wizard!
All right, we sit on May 11th of 2019. Let's see. Well, actually, the first thing that you can notice is, boom, we are in the Europa League final. So regardless, we're going to have a shot at that. But let's see if I'm off the hook immediately and take a look at the end of the year. No, it's... I think... you know what's important is that we beat the London teams, okay? We beat... Well, actually, technically, we could still be jumped over by Chelsea, but we beat Spurs. That's what's most important. And yeah, there are the memes about, you know, Arsenal being in 2nd place constantly. But you know what? That's like a long time ago. That's like 5 years ago. Getting those memes back, I think, is progress. Liverpool fans, kudos to you. Bravo. You guys have won the league. Tidied that up. So... no, we're not going to win the league, so we're not going to play that final game of the season. What we are going to do is we are just going to sim ahead to this one over here. We're going to sim to the Europa League final, play that one out, and if I win it, I do not have to go ahead and give away a copy of FIFA 19. And I'd like that because despite being over 100K on YouTube, I'm going to go broke if I keep on giving away $60 per video. These videos do not make $60.
Do you hear me, YouTube? Do you hear me? Not even close.
Let's go, boys. The Europa League final, Arsenal versus Inter Milan. Let's get into it on ultimate difficulty. Vote up in the eye of things, Arsenal fans. Would you be more satisfied with this current team or the actual real-life Arsenal team that you have now? All right, I'm going to test this out, see how much of this I can show without UEFA going ahead and striking my channel. You can see how we set up in a 4-2-3-1. Mbappe up top, Rodriguez, Pogba, Thiago. I actually moved them around a little bit, and as you can see, Munir is in the CDM position while Darmian is going to start at right back. Iniesta starts on the bench just because We're going to be playing it out. I want a little bit more beef in the midfield. For Inter, we got Jack Butland. That's right, we stole Handanovic from him. And Island Valero, Balde Keita, Perisic, João Mario playing in behind Icardi, Grimaldo, Skriniar, De Vrij, and Volsalko. Interesting. Although it is going to be nice that we don't have to try to... I mean, Butland's not bad, but he's no Handanovic. 90 minutes to determine if I have to pay up another $60. Let us begin. Let's go! Ah! 21st minute, the first real chance of anyone in this match. It's been cagey. We've held possession, but we haven't done too much with it. Put it into the middle. We're at the back post! Oh! Can we get there? Pugs! Oh! What? Oh my god, I couldn't switch! So we make a proper tackle, and then it doesn't allow me to switch over. The CPU just reacts naturally because it's the CPU. And what should have been an easy defensive clearance turns into a goal. It bounced off my defender, fell right back into the path, knocked away. FIFA 19, FIFA 19. And that's halftime. Barely anything has happened in these matches so far, guys. I've allowed one shot, and they've allowed one shot. It's been mostly cagey in the midfield. I'm holding most of the possession, and it's just a defensive slip-up. Yeah, nothing's happening. I had 70% of the possession. One shot on target, one goal. Let's mix up the tactics. Let's go more of a balanced. Oh, please! Mbappe! Are you kidding me? Oh, please! Iniesta! The old man still got it! 81st minute! And we are back in, boys! Oh my god, 75th minute, I brought in a couple of substitutions, and old man Iniesta coming off of the bench, saving the day. Just enough. Almost went out. Alright, 89th minute. We've won ourselves a corner. If I can get at least decent delivery on here. Who's tall? He's not that tall. He can still do it though! Oh! God. Who's that? Maguire? Okay. You're not going to see that all too often. This is pretty good. For a center back? Alright, once again, we're going to go into extra time. So we've been utterly dominating them. Man, we got the better team and everything. Oh, damn. Try to work a little bit, but Jackie Butts denies me. F it, cross it in the middle. Hogs, no! Nope. Andres! Oh, a save from Butland! You gotta be kidding me. Iniesta was set up to be the hero. Oh, God. We're going to pens. Let's go. Pog is a oh, God. It took a long hit. It messed with me. Oh, he missed! We're still in it. Oh, my God. Jackie Butland did this barely. Yes! No one failed. Oh, my God. This is it. Andres, I need you, bud. I need you. Oh, my God. They still have Perisic, too. Oh, my God. He went right down the middle. Are you kidding me? All right, Mbappe. Oh my God. I was talking all this shit about Jackie Butland, and I put only one past him. She would like to be eligible to go ahead and win a copy of FIFA 19. Leave a comment down below that says Beamana sucks dick. But as we do, let's take a final look at the standings. We do come in second place. We beat out Chelsea and Spurs, but Liverpool do go ahead and win the league. Take a look at the player stats. It is Jamie Vardy who goes ahead and wins top scorer, with Eden Hazard coming in second place and Mbappe with the irrespectable third place. Let's go over to assists, and it is Teixeira of Southampton. We'll go all the way down to Pogba, who was in 7th place with 6 assists. And then for clean sheets, Ederson of Manchester City won it with Handanovic coming in 3rd place for Arsenal. And let's go ahead and wrap it up with the squad report. Handanovic went down by 1 to an 87. Casillas went down by 2 to an 80. Thomas Munir went up by +1 to 83. Kamara went up by +2 to 73. By the way, I recommend buying him. He's pretty damn good. Barzagli only went down by 1. He's 38 and he only went down by 1. Okay, EA. Something in the code must have changed. Marquinhos went up by 1 to 85. Harry Maguire went up by 1 to 83. Alex Telles went up to 85. Matteo Darmian stayed at 76. Chemi Bemi went up by +2 to 73. Tonali went up by 3 to 70. Busquets stayed at 88. Okay, well, I guess he's 30, so he should stay. Hulk did go down by 2 to 79. The other Paulinho went up by +2 to 73. Andres Iniesta went down by 2 to 85. Paul Poggers went up by 2 to 90. Cesc Fabregas went down by 1 to 82. Thiago stayed at 86. Fonzo Davies went up by 3 to 75. James Rodriguez went up by 1 to 89. Angel Gomez went up to a 69. Nice. That's +3. Kylian Mbappe went up by +2 to 89. And then Goebbels, who didn't see the light of day, went up by +3 to 67. So yeah, that is it for myself, the whole goddamn team. And rebuild with Arsenal. I think with these fundamental building blocks, they could go on and definitely push for possibly Champions League as well as the title next season. But we only do one season in these rebuilds. Although this is, I think, the first rebuild that we failed in. It was a lot of fun trying to play that possession game and playing with mostly midfielders, trying to tiki-taka our way through. And it felt distinctly different, and that's great, especially in FIFA 19, where very little in career mode is different. But yeah, that's pretty much going to conclude it for me, the Fat Asian. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you want to check out other rebuilds, go ahead and click the poo on these ones. And if you want to check out something completely new on the channel, go ahead and click over here, Days Views. But yeah, that's it for me, B-Mons. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Remember, stay yourself, stay humble. Until next time, boys, stay thick.